and welcome to Let's Talk About Books, baby, where we talk with your favorite LGBTQ authors. This is Anita Kelly, and my guest today is Alaina Erdell. Hello, Alaina.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for being on the show. We had to cancel once, and I'm glad that we were able to reschedule.
Oh,
Um,
me too. This is my first podcast, so it's exciting.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. Good. So, and just in the nick of time, because I do believe that very soon you have a book coming out. Um, it is called Fire, Water, and Rock. Is that correct?
It is. And yeah, it's very soon, December 1st. It's released through Bold Strokes, who is my publisher. And then December 13th, it'll be available on all the other outlets. And it seems like it's taken a long time to get here, but I'm really excited about it. So
Oh, I'll
it's fun.
bet. Is this your first published works?
It is. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's really exciting. So, can you tell us about the book that is called Fire, Water, and Rock?
Sure. Yeah. It's a contemporary sapphic romance. It's an age gap romance, and it takes place in a state park in Washington State that actually exists. It's called Dry Falls, Sun Lake's Dry Falls, sometimes you'll see. And it's sort of an unusual area because, like the name, the falls is dry, and it used to be the largest waterfall on the planet, they think. And it was about 5 times the size of Niagara. So everything happens, or at least most of the book happens in this park at a campground. So I, needed a reason to place people there. So one of the women is a ranger.
Okay.
And then the other woman is a geologist who is finishing up her master's.
Okay.
And she comes to the park for the summer. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that true? Is Dry Falls? Was it?
Yeah, that part is true. That part's not fiction. The park exists, and it's a very interesting place. It's dry. It's sort of a desert, which is not what you'd expect, and honestly, not usually my type of place. I kind of like the lush greenery, sort of parks, but it's really unusual. And if you're a fan of places like Yellowstone, where you're not going to see places like that just everywhere, then you'd probably like that type of park because it is unusual and it has a lot of history and it's just massive. It's hard to explain if you're not standing in the bottom of it and looking up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. I am not familiar with that at all.
Yeah,
And
sort of out of the way, so I think it kind of goes unnoticed.
were you familiar with the park, or did you have to do research on it?
Both. I've camped there over time and spent a lot of time there. And also, I did a lot of research for this just because I needed details that I didn't have on hand in terms of geology. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know those things. And I needed specific details and specific history to that time period that I had to research.
Okay. And what is the significance of the title Fire, Water, and Rock?
Well,
Or will that
I
give away
don't.
the story?
Maybe no. I don't. I don't tend to like really get into my titles because I sort of like the reader to figure it out for themselves, and see what it means to them.
Okay.
But you know, all of those elements are in the story in terms of being very literal, but then they may have other meanings too.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Congrats. Can't wait to read it.
Thank you.
And then you not only have one, but you have two books about to be published, right?
Right. Also with Bold Strokes, and that might not have been my wisest decision, but being a new author, I didn't know that, but it was a lot at once, me putting that on myself. But yes, I have another one coming out March 1st, and it's called Off the Menu. And it's also a contemporary sapphic romance, but this time it's enemies to lovers. And that's my first time writing that. So that was it was more challenging than I expected, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And it takes place in a restaurant,
Cool.
and it centers around a reality TV show. And there's a celebrity fixer who comes in to, save failing and struggling restaurants. And she ends up, butting heads with the executive chef. They can't see eye to eye, but they can't deny their attraction either. So,
We
they're
know how those chefs are.
right, right. So, I threw in some conniving owners and unscrupulous producers for good measure. And
Cool.
everybody enjoys that one too.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. So, all right. So, how did you come to have two books being published within like months of each other?
Well, I just asked and they said yes. I'm not sure beyond that. They Gold Strokes has been great. I just love them as my publisher, and they've just been so helpful, and they care so much about their authors, and they do so much to help make sure that we're putting out the best books we can, and I appreciate that so much. And um, yeah, I had this idea and I proposed it, and before this first book had even come out, they said yes to it. So, I'm grateful that they extended that belief in me, and I hope I can do them proud.
Oh, that's so nice. That's wonderful. Boy, you've been busy, I guess, huh?
I've been busy, yes, a little bit.
So, how does it feel to have like two books coming out?
It's really exciting. I mean, I feel so fortunate. I never thought this would be my life, and it's a dream come true. It almost surreal though. I think maybe once the first book is actually out, it will sink in a little bit more. But it feels like I'm living a dream to some extent.
Oh, that's so cool. I'll bet. I'll bet that's just awesome. So, speaking about living the dream, right? As a newbie to the women loving women author world, um, was there like some author that you read a lot of and kind of looked up to, and now you're like their peer?
Well, I don't know if I see myself as anyone's peer yet, but
Ah,
um, just being considered in the same categories as other authors is um, it's such a neat feeling. And I think I probably squealed the first time Georgia Beers or Karen Callmaker liked something I said on Twitter. It's
yeah.
just it's a great feeling to be in that community, and it really is a small community, and everyone is so nice and helpful. And
Hmm.
another one of Bold Strokes authors, Jeannie Levig, has sort of taken me under her wing and has answered all of my questions. And there's been so many, and she's helped me with the process and has given helpful advice. And I really appreciate it. It's you know it's a neat feeling to have that coming from someone whose works you read and admire, and suddenly you're emailing with them. It's
Yeah.
it's a bit, it's a little bit of a I don't know, a little surge of excitement every time you open up your email or your social media and you see people whose names grace the books on your shelf.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So, how did you get Fire, Water, and Rock noticed by Bold Strokes?
Well, like many, new authors, you have to submit a manuscript, but it took me a while to get to that point. I started out as a fan fiction writer,
Okay.
and I had finished the fan fiction, um, I just sort of sat on it for a while until others around me started to encourage me to submit it. And then I had to do my research, and I researched, all the different publishers, and I decided on Bold Strokes. And yeah, I submitted it, and they have a process they go through, and when they came back, they said yes. So I mean, I was very lucky.
Nice. Very nice. That's wonderful. Like, so that was your first time out of the starting gate.
It was, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, have you had like formal training in writing?
No,
That's not your
I mean,
background? Yeah.
I went to school like everyone else, I suppose, and I went to a college who uh, put a lot of emphasis on writing,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that going in, but I learned quickly how to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Having huge papers due was not an end of the term or a midterm kind of thing. It was, just a Tuesday or just a Thursday. So
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of writing while I was in college, and I had jobs where I've had to do writing grants or things like that, but nothing formal, no. And I probably should have done more in terms of learning to know what needed to be done to be a good fiction writer.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up picking that up through editing and probably to the chagrin of my editors, but yeah,
Editors are like that.
yeah, yeah. I have great editors, so I can't say enough good things about
That's awesome. Yeah, I think
them.
from what I hear, Bold Strokes has some really, really helpful editors. They're really great to work with.
Yeah, so far everyone I've encountered has been great.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is really nice. So your formal training, right, is in psychology and the culinary arts. Um, so
Right. Well, I got my bachelor's in psychology, and then I've also worked in restaurants since the time I was 14.
wow,
I think even before I could legally work, probably,
yeah.
and just worked my way up over the years until I was a chef. I really enjoy that. It's hard on the body, or I'd probably still be doing it, but there's a high that goes with it that is hard to beat, and
Mm-hmm.
I really do love everything about cooking, and I still, cook a lot in my free time, but now just for my family mostly.
Mm-hmm. So you do the cooking at home.
Oh yes, yes, all of it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And you know what? I love to when I'm at home. I love to play. Oh, what's the game show where they give you a basket.
Oh, Chopped.
Yes, I love to play
Yes.
Chopped. I love to go through the pantry and just pull out things and say, "Well, okay, these are my ingredients. I'm going to make something." Um,
Yeah, sometimes you have to play Chopped out of necessity, right?
that's true. Yeah, that's very true. Um, so that's cool. So for your second book, then, off the menu, you may not have had to have done like a lot of research, then, right?
Well, you would think, but I'm sort of meticulous about that kind of thing. So
Okay.
even if it's, something I know like the back of my hand to some extent, things change over time. There's new technology, there's new gadgets they have in kitchens. And so
Yeah.
I still did a lot of research to catch myself up on that kind of stuff and make sure I knew, what was happening in the restaurant industry
Okay.
now so that it sounded as, you know, realistic as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what was your most favorite scene to write?
That's a hard one.
Is it?
You know, it is. It's never going to be a sex scene, I'll tell you that, because those are very difficult, right?
Are
But
they?
I think so. I'm very particular about them. So I really try to, toe a fine line with what I'm looking for in a sex scene. So I spend a lot of time on them. I can't say they're fun to write, but I
Okay.
hope people enjoy them. I put a lot of work into them. So,
Okay. I'm sure
but
they do.
for my favorite to write, I really enjoyed their first kiss in Fire, Water, and Rock.
Aw.
It takes place at night under the stars, and I just wanted to really try and impart that magical feeling into it. So I had fun writing that, and as a close second, I would say there's when they reconcile towards the end of the book. I really enjoyed writing that scene too in Fire, Water, and Rock.
Okay. So two good scenes there. That the first kiss sounds like a very romantic setting.
I hope so. I hope people find that.
Yeah. Cool. So you have two books coming out, but what are you doing in the meantime? Are you working on anything right now?
Well, I'm just finishing up the edits for Off the Menu for the one coming out in March.
Ah, okay.
I might have something else coming out too, but I can't quite talk about it yet. It hasn't been announced, but um, yeah, always working on something.
Okay.
Just,
So
yeah,
the
keep
book
an eye
that
on social media. And
what's that?
I said, just keep an eye on my social media.
Okay. All right. We will. Um and your the book you're working on, um do you have a like, are you writing it, or is the concept in your mind and you're waiting for the okay? You have to pitch it.
Nope, it's been pitched and it's been approved, and the concept is done. I'm just waiting for them to announce it, and I think I can probably say it's going to be a student-teacher relationship among consenting adults, though, before I start getting angry letters.
Thank you very
Or
much.
yes, but yeah, that should be around. I think out next fall, next
Okay.
November.
Okay.
So yeah, there'll be more information soon on that.
Wow, so that's like 3 books in a year.
Yeah, just over a year.
That
Yeah.
is like crazy busy.
Well, I can't promise I can keep up to that pace, but
Yeah, I think some of I know, like some of the more seasoned writers, like Radcliffe will do, she'll spew out like 4 books a year. Um, but yeah, that's a
yeah,
lot.
right. But
That's
she probably doesn't have the kind of edits I have either at this point in her writing career. It's tough for me to sort of switch tracks and go from, just being in that zone of writing to, kind of closing that off and switching to, completely different characters, completely different plot and editing. And, and then maybe switching to a proposal and trying to get all the things in a proposal that you need. It's tough to sort of, make your brain do those different things at the same time.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing that. I think that would be really really hard because especially, like your own characters. Like sometimes I'll read 2 books at once, right? And and before I start, I have to like kind of be like, okay, this one's about this, like just get them straight. And they're not even like my characters. I can't imagine like if they were mine and trying to keep them straight. It'd be like trying to keep your kids straight.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do have to try to immerse yourself to some extent. Like don't, I don't often work on like two the same day. I'll separate them even that much just so I can get in the mindset of, whatever book I'm working on.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. So, like as you write, and your characters come to life, what was there anything that like kind of surprised you, maybe about one of your characters as they came into being?
Well, I don't know about one character in particular, but just in terms of how how a story goes. I'm a plotter, but that doesn't necessarily mean everything works out exactly how I plan.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things, end up going differently. I'll have a better idea and I'll have to change it, or something doesn't work and I'll have to change it. So, as the story comes to life, I guess it changes. But then once, I have an idea of all the characters in my head and who they are and everything. And then once you put them out there, though, in the world, it's up to the readers and they sort of become theirs. And, recently someone read Fire, Water, and Rock, and they came back to me and said that, oh, the supporting character was hilarious. And in my head, I was thinking, like, did I even write her that way? I don't remember writing her as being funny, but something must have, come across that way to that reader. So it's funny how, things change like that as the story, takes on a life of its own.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So something about that character resonated. Uh, that's great that they took that. So who are the characters in Fire, Water, and Rock? What are their names?
So Claire is the ranger,
Claire is the
and then
ranger.
Jess, Jess is the geologist,
Okay.
and Brett is the head ranger, who is Claire's boss, and he you know would really like to date her and would really like to date any woman that walks by.
Ah, okay.
Um, Her best friend is Lynn, who also has a little bit of a crush on her and has since they went to college together. So those two play the biggest role in terms of making things difficult along the way.
Okay. All right. But Claire wins out in the end.
Well, let's hope, right?
She better. Although
Romance, after all.
one time I read it was it was it was a thriller, I guess, or a mystery, and a crime like who done it, and a romance, and in the end, the two protagonists did not get together, and
Ooh, that's disappointing.
oh, it
Don't you
was, it was. They made up for it in the next book. It was
think?
part of a
Okay.
series, but I was like, damn. It was like anticlimactic. I was like, oh
I
no.
haven't encountered that yet. I don't think. I don't know how I'd react. I think I might have a hard time picking up another book from that author.
Well, I did because I wanted them to be together. Like and I was like, you know, uh, that can't be the end. It just can't. And it wasn't. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I imagine that she took a lot of flack from readers, right? Um,
Probably. Yeah,
yeah,
at least the romance readers.
yeah, yeah. That is not your typical romance ending.
No.
Yeah. So you write, right? You're writing contemporary romance, basically. And have you thought about dabbling in other genres?
I've thought about it. I don't know that I will. I really do like writing the contemporary romance.
Hmm.
It's just sort of where my heart is. If I did, expand out, it might be to, like romantic blend, something like that. But um, it's really sort of my first love. And yeah,
Okay. Is that
things may
because
change a bit.
is that
Sorry.
because you're a romantic at heart?
I think I am probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
probably, I've always enjoyed it. And in the, in the community, that I'm writing in,
Hmm.
we always haven't had that many. I mean, things have changed these days. You have more to choose from
Yeah.
than say 10 years or 20 years ago. So I
Yeah.
feel like there's room for many more. We haven't quite caught up yet. There's plenty of room for sapphic romances,
Oh,
sapphic
definitely.
romances,
Definitely. You know
I mean,
when
all
you
the kinds. Yeah.
what's that?
I, I mean, there's room for all of them, but I don't feel like there's too many. I'm
Mhm.
perfectly content to write in this genre for a while.
Okay. Excellent. Well, we love to read in this genre. So, you keep writing.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
so, does your wife or partner read your work?
Yeah, my partner does. She reads everything. She's my first reader, and she's also a writer, so she has great suggestions. And she also, has no qualms about killing my darlings. So
Oh,
um, brutally honest, which is good because sometimes you need that. And she'll tell me like it is, and say if it needs to go or say if it's great. And she has just a knack for taking some convoluting thought or sentence I have and making it crisp and clean and to say exactly what I needed to say. And
hmm.
it's great to have around.
That is really wonderful.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, that really is. So, do you guys write together? Do you guys like sit down with your laptops and write together?
Not usually. I mean, occasionally we might, go to a cafe and do that for an hour or two, but
Hmm.
usually we do it on our own time. Sometimes she'll do it, she has time at work where she can do it. And I need like almost absolute quiet. And so, that doesn't usually work for me.
Hmm.
And yeah, we find our own time to do it.
Okay. And is she a published author?
Well, not yet.
Okay.
But see, maybe someday.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah.
if she is, you could give a plug for her if you wanted to.
I would. I would if she was. I mean, she hopes to be someday, and she just finished a book, so she's in the process of, uh, going over it and cleaning it up, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, let me know. Keep me posted. We'll
I
we'll
will. I will.
we'll we'll have her on the show, and maybe we'll have the two of you together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
That would be fun. Yeah. So, you mentioned you're on social media, right? Um, and
Um,
how would our listeners connect with you, and where can they purchase your novels?
well, first the social media. I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram, and up until recently, I've been mostly active on Twitter. All is Alaina Erdell. We'll see how that plays out. Maybe jumping ship and moving there, depending on how things go. But
With
I also have
Twitter?
a website. Yeah, with Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, because of the new buyout.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people are moving to other platforms, and I don't know if I'm ready yet, or I'll kind of see how it goes. But I'm on Twitter right now,
Okay.
and then I have my website is alainaerdell.com, ALAINAERDELL. And I have a TikTok, although I haven't really gotten into that yet, but perhaps one day.
Mm-hmm.
And to buy the books, you can pre-order both of them now through Bold Strokes, through their website, and they'll come out then on the other platforms like Barnes and Noble and Amazon and all that. Uh, one on December 13th, and I assume the one in March, probably around the middle of March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they come out on Bold Strokes on the first of the month, and then halfway
Right.
through the month they come out on the other platforms. And
Yeah,
any
those.
any thoughts or notions to have like a an audiobook?
I think that's up to the publisher.
Okay.
I mean, I would love if my books were on audio, just especially for people who need that sort
Mm-hmm.
of thing. But
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy audiobooks too, so we'll see.
Okay, so that's the publisher's decision then, right?
It is. Mhm.
Okay, I didn't realize that. That's great. All right.
Well, I think at least with my publisher.
Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. So you can connect with Alaina Erdell at Facebook or on Instagram or Twitter or at her website, alainaerdell.com. Um, and her books are Fire, Water, and Rock. And that is coming out in December. And then in March, we have Off the Menu. So check out those books. Check out Alaina's websites and her social media sites, and make some connections. I think that you'll enjoy her work. Um, so, Alaina, do you have any parting words for our listeners?
I just want to say, thanks for supporting queer authors. I think we all appreciate it so much. And, if you pick up the book, I hope you enjoy it.
Awesome. All right, guys. You heard it here first. Again, Alaina Erdell, she's a newly published author. Support her. Her book is Fire, Water, and Rock, and you can get that on the Bold Strokes Books website. That's a mouthful to say. Um, but yeah, and check her out on social media. So Alaina, thanks so much for being on the show today. This
Thank you. I
is
appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime, anytime. And don't forget, you and your wife once she gets published. So like I'm expecting that now.
Well, girlfriend, but yes, yes.
Okay, girlfriend. All right. Sorry, I have you
No,
guys
that's
married
okay.
off. So that's all the time we have for today. I'm Anita Kelly, and thanks for joining Let's Talk About Books, baby. And until next time, may your journey be lighthearted, peace be plenty, and be safe, folks.